So you ain't gonna never hear me say that a woman can't do it.
Right.
I serve a miracle working God.
Come on now.
And a lot of I'm saying, listen, this is the truth. Like he will fill in the gaps.
like we about to have a church.
Yeah. I'm for it now.
Yeah.
But I will say this, that for the rest of that brother's life, he is always going to have this hole in his heart.
Sure.
This longing, this desire for that masculine presence of a father.
Yeah.
It is. There's a reason why, and I say this with great caution.
Yeah.
There's a reason why God has identified himself as a father.
Sure. What's good, everybody? This is Pastor Debleaire Snell, and the weekend is here. And I'm excited that you decided to spend this time with us at the Weekend Exhale with BOL. Now, tonight, man, something epic is about to launch. I want to welcome you guys to the King's Table. And the King's Table is a space that has been carved out where men can be men, talk, share, be encouraged, and get equipped with the tools that they need to be able to thrive. And so, listen, we're a little salty because last year, the ladies started a group called Girls Night In. And we've been watching them, man, key and have a good time and get built up. And so we just had to come back and do something that was going to bless the men. So we welcome you to the King's Table. So, do me your favor real quick. Be a digital disciple, be an Apple apostle. Even if you want to be an electronic evangelist, even if you're under the Android anointing, go ahead and copy that link. Send it to 3, 4, 5, 10 people, brothers that you love, so that they can begin joining this conversation and be built up. And maybe you're a sister who's watching, you just want to get a little bit more insight into how men think, what your man is going through, what makes him tick. We're glad to have you, and you can invite some ladies to be a part of it as well. And so listen, this is our maiden episode. It is our inaugural lunch tonight, and I'm excited to have a very special guest with me, my brother and my friend, Dr. Myron Edmonds. Dr. Edmunds is a graduate of Oakwood, then college. He received his Master's of Divinity from Andrews University. Also, he received this Doctorate of Ministry from there with an emphasis on family ministry and counsel. He's got over 25 years of pastoral experience. He is an international speaker, life coach. He is the architect and the founder of the Men's Winning Circle, which is a powerful movement designed to give men support, instruction, and counsel so that they can win in the things that matter. And he is a longtime friend of mine. We were suite mates in school, roommates in grad school. My brother from another mother, Dr. Myron Edmonds. So glad to have you in the house tonight, man. How you feeling?
Oh, brother, I'm a little nervous.
Are you a little nervous?
I'm a little nervous. I'm normally not nervous, but sitting across from my brother from another mother.
Is it?
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Yeah. So now, as we stated, this is a men's space tonight.
This is a men's space.
So we're gonna talk like men. We're gonna talk like brothers, and we're gonna have a good time tonight.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
So listen, man, we're excited to have you here with us. We know that you are also a family man. You're married with 2 young adult children. Tell us a little bit about your family background.
Yes, sir, brother. You were there.
Yeah.
You were there. I've been 24 years married
24 years, yeah.
To my wife,
remember your
Sinead.
wedding day?
Yes.
Remember the tears that that flowed abundantly as that union came together.
Jesus wept, brother.
Yes, he did.
That's what to be like him.
Amen.
And Lord has blessed us, man. We got 2 kids, 2 grown young adult children now. My daughter Taylor is 22, and my son Camden is 20. My daughter is a fashion design major. She's in her last year, brother.
Yeah.
And then
she's working with some pretty
major man. God has blessed her.
Yeah.
She's got a chance to really spread her wings and do well. And then my son Camden, he's in college, and he majors in basketball.
Yeah.
And he minors in business.
Yeah.
And he's 20, so he's doing well. Yeah.
Good, man. Excited to see how God is blessing the family and how he's growing the ministry simultaneously. One is not growing at the expense of the other.
That's right.
All right. So listen, tonight, what we're going to get into is we're going to be talking about the weight that men carry. And for those who don't know, again, Dr. Edmonds has really done a lot of research, has devoted his life to building and encouraging and equipping men to be the best version of themselves and to be firmly rooted in Jesus Christ. And honestly, when God really brought this idea to me, I didn't really go past this name. I reached out to him immediately, and we're thankful that he was able to come and give us his time. So as we talk about the weight that men carry, what we want to do is we want to get past kind of male bravado. We don't want to talk on the surface. We want to really get to the things that can kind of push our brothers forward who are engaged tonight. So my first question, Doc, is as we talk about it in the context of men, do men and women fundamentally deal with pressure in a different way?
Absolutely.
Okay.
100% they do. I feel that the reason why the pressure is dealt with differently is just because of permission.
Okay.
There's a societal permission.
Permission.
Yeah,
Okay.
for women to be quote unquote emotional.
Yeah.
I think the big word would be the word vulnerable.
Yeah.
We almost associate that with femininity
Or
in
weakness
a sense.
in some ways.
Or weakness. And so, of course, in patriarchal models, men view women as weak, and not just weaker vessels in terms of physical strength, but
Sure.
they're just weaker because we call them emotional.
Sure. Yeah.
But both of us know that emotions are just a part of being a human being.
Human being, yeah.
But women just have the permission to emote. From the time that we're little boys,
Yeah.
we've seen this at work. Don't cry. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Be a man.
Yeah.
Act like you got some sense. Those are kind of the tropes and
Yeah.
the stereotypes that are
Yeah.
made for a boy. That listen, you need to be strong. Don't
Yeah.
be soft. I was even guilty of that.
Sure, yeah.
After I had done all the research.
Yeah.
Even to this day, that
this
was one of
day.
the struggles
Yeah.
I had with
And I
my
ain't
son.
gonna
I
lie,
didn't want to be soft.
That is a
Yeah.
hard thing to pull back from.
How do you?
I've got a 15-year-old boy and I got a 10-year-old, and man, it's even though you know better, it's so ingrained.
It's innate. Yes,
it is. It
yeah.
is. And
especially if you're a black man. Too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think
I think there's a part of you that's like, man, I'm preparing them for this world.
Of course.
Where nobody cares.
Of course.
And it feels like, all right, in order to prepare them for that, this is how I gotta arm them. I don't know.
Yeah, I think maturity helps
Yeah.
us to understand that you can be both.
You can be both.
You can
Yeah.
be both strong and you can be vulnerable.
Sure.
The Apostle Paul talks about it all the time. Well, at least in the text in Corinthians, where he says that in weakness, we're made strong.
That's
but
right.
To your point, the pressure that men face is not. It's different, and I don't like to compare the two
Sure.
and say one is more than the other.
Yeah.
Women have their own set of pressures, but I will say this, and I stand 10 toes down on this: the pressure for men becomes greater because there is less margin for error. And when I say error, I'm talking about in the context of how we perceive what a man is. And there are a lot of women that come up under the same system and the same teaching.
Yeah.
And although they want their men to be vulnerable
Right.
and and compassionate and to be good listeners and to be intimate and all those things, at the same time, they also want a man who is quote unquote strong.
Yeah.
And so they're confused sometimes of what they want. But I mean, I would simply say it like this, even in my own life.
It's funny because I hear some
yeah.
guys say, man, I get friend zoned for being the nice guy.
Oh, 100%.
For not kind of having, I guess, that edge or kind of outer bravado.
Women they want the thug.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when they're immature and don't quite know what they want.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna tell you why, and it's really deep.
Yeah.
It's the perception, the innate perception of a woman, and this goes down to just like the DNA level, right?
Yeah.
Their default setting is women want security.
Gotcha.
And so what sells security to them is strength, machismo, bravado.
Yeah.
Because that's what we've been taught. Can
yeah.
this dude protect me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Fundamentally.
Can
Yeah.
he protect me? Can he provide the security? So where it falls short, though, is when you get married to this guy, you realize that the protection is not only just physical, but it's an emotional protection.
Sure.
And so a lot of us come in wired, not really knowing how to cover our wives or to cover our daughters even, just because we have that default setting, both on the women's side of wanting sort of the strong guy. And
We
on
may
the
be
men's side,
sharper at protecting
Yeah,
property.
that's it.
Physical space.
That's it.
But
we can't fight demons. You know, I was telling somebody the other day,
Can't
like,
fight
you know, a lot of guys are into guns and, you know, like all that stuff. You know, we have those hobbies. We're interested in those things. We want to be tough. But at the end of the day, they're ill prepared to provide the spiritual and emotional protection. And honestly, a lot of us have been guilty of injuring, wife and children and people around us. And the line I use a lot is a lot of brothers are bleeding on people that never cut them.
Yeah.
Just simply because we are dying, trying to be men.
Dying, trying to be men.
And it's just, God didn't really set it up that way for us to have to suppress our humanity and our vulnerabilities. Yeah.
Man, let me ask you this. And what makes a man? Like, I mean, as you kind of, as you study it, or even if you want to draw, some ideas from Scripture, a man is what? Because it feels like there is a kind of a drifting definition or just a lack of clarity about what a man is, what he does,
and more so compared to a woman.
And more so compared to a woman.
I'm glad you asked that question. I'm glad we're starting with that question. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
Because if you're perceptive, you will note that if I were to ask, what is a woman? Right? More often than not, you're going to get a very biological answer.
Sure.
A woman is a human being that has a womb. Right? It gets biological. It gets factual. It gets almost scientific. But when you start trying to ask people for a definition of a man, it gets philosophical.
It does,
Man is somebody who stands by his family. Man is someone who, who's as true to duty as the needle is to the pole. Man is somebody who's a man of integrity and character. We don't do the same thing for women. But when it comes to men, so I mean, we gotta refine the question.
Okay.
You can ask me what a man is, and I'll tell you, a man is someone that has a sexual appendage called a penis.
Sure. Right. Yeah.
But what kind of man?
What kind of man? Okay.
So, and I think that's what people immediately do.
Yeah, I got you.
And so there are a lot of brothers out there, by consequence, who don't feel like they're men because the world says if you're going to be a man, you need to have money, you need to have power, and you need to have authority over women.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
And in the church, you got to be a man if you got it all together.
Sure. Yeah.
So by extension, you can be... You as long as you look moral, will make you a leader in the church just by virtue of your gender. But you may not possess the fruit of the Spirit, or
as long as you look moral.
You just have to look,
and honestly, tenure. If you just hang around church long enough,
just don't do nothing stupid.
Don't do nothing.
Don't have anything obviously that's out of sorts.
Yeah. Man, that's amazing. So as we kind of talk about the weight that men carry, so we know that in many instances men, I guess, have the weight of working and protecting, and in some ways, providing, for lack of a better term. And I think we both use some terminology about what provider is, so on and so forth. But are there some unseen weights that men carry that's beyond probably some of the typical things that we would identify as a part of kind of a man's load? Yeah,
this is a question that I get all the time just from teaching and coaching men. But it's a question I've posed a lot to the guys in our community. And here's what's interesting: the one of the deepest pain points that I found with men. Is this word called shame.
Shame.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I feel that a lot of brothers are
Christian and unchristian.
Christian and unchristian.
Okay.
Because of
or
the
non-Christian.
weight. Let's back to what you were saying. Because of the weight and the pressure of what it means to be a man, which is essentially you're not human, right? You're this Superman kind of persona. You're strong. You got it together. You got your money. If a man does not have any one of those things, whether it be in the world and the church, subconsciously he feels less than himself.
Yeah, less than himself. Wow.
Oh yeah. Because he doesn't have what a man is supposed to have. Right?
Yeah.
He is not, he's not a man because the philosophical definition prevails. And so what I find with a lot of men, doesn't matter how much money they're making, doesn't matter what kind of family marriage situation they're in. Most of the men I know feel constantly unprepared for manhood because they never feel like they measure up. And I think if we go back some, the insecurity that I'm not really the kind of man that I need to be comes from two places. The first place is a lack of a father in the home who does what God the Father did for Jesus, which is says, "This is my son, in whom I'm well pleased.
Gotcha.
Most of us didn't get that. We didn't get that godly affirmation, that unconditional affirmation from a father. The other piece is we don't understand the gospel. So men, to me, are plagued more with a works righteousness mindset because our whole value is based upon what we accomplish and what we do.
It's performance-based.
Yes, it's performance-based completely. Yeah.
Man, it's crazy because even the gospel is a delivering agent for men. Wow, that's a powerful thing, man. I hadn't really thought about it.
Let me just say this, because you touched on it. So I got in a lot of trouble because I posted something online. Actually, it went viral because of the controversy of the statement that I made. And so I basically said, show me a text in the Bible where the Bible says that the man is the provider.
Right.
And immediately the response I got from a lot of people was, number one, well, the Bible says a man that does not take care of his home is worse than an infidel. Well, if you study the text more carefully in context, it's not really talking about men. It's talking about children who don't take care of widows, right? And then, I don't want to get to the Greek words, but it's not talking about a man.
A husband,
all right? So that's what's one text. We don't build a theology on one text. Sure. Right? And then the other piece is they'll say, well, God doesn't want him to be lazy, not to work. So when I say that, I'm not. The word provider to me is different than worker.
Worker, yeah. Correct.
Okay. Yeah. So when Adam was created, and everything was provided. All he had to do was manage and cultivate it. Here's the trouble I think we have with it, and it goes back to what we're talking about.
Sure.
If a man is not providing under the definition that the world has created, which is he's making money, he's putting food on the table. And listen, in the black community, most black women are making more money than their men. And I'm telling you, a lot of these guys feel less than men. They won't want to admit it, because they don't got the bag.
I know that's right.
And so the trouble becomes because, again, we start identifying ourselves with something that can be taken away.
Wow.
A job,
income,
money, and that doesn't mean we don't work.
A position,
It's a matter of integrity and stewardship for me to labor and to work and to give my best. But that is not associated with my identity.
Sure,
right. That may be something I do, priest, provider, protector. But it's not who I am. I'm a son, and I'm loved by a father.
Man, I love that.
Full stop.
I love that. That's powerful.
And that's how I move. We ought to move from that perspective.
Because I think it adds kind of an unnecessary pressure or weight. Because even like the term we use, Jehovah Jireh, God is our provider. Like provider is his name.
And who was that? Abraham. Abraham had bank. He had money, but he can't produce a baby.
He can produce it. That's right.
And that was the lesson that God was trying to tell him. After all your accomplishments and your achievement, your attempt to try to make it happen, I'm the provider.
Right. Or even when Israel was in the wilderness, God provided the manna.
Yes, he did.
They could go gather it, but they couldn't provide it. They couldn't generate it. They couldn't create it.
That's it.
Or even the Bible makes it clear that it is God that giveth thee
power to get wealth.
You
can't even get a job without God.
Promotion doesn't come from the east or the west.
It comes from the Lord.
It comes from the Lord.
That's right. That's right.
So I just think, man, I'm hoping that somebody's listening to this and just really finding a sense of relief and just realizing, man, I love the term you use. You're a son.
Yes.
I am a child of the Most High.
That's right.
And essentially, man, I am his responsibility.
That's right.
This family is his responsibility.
That's right.
I've simply got to be loyal, you know what I'm saying, to the role and to the assignment that he's given me. And he's going, as the term Jehovah Jireh means, he'll see to it.
He'll see to it.
God will see to it.
He'll make himself responsible for your success.
For your success.
I will tell you this. I feel that there are a lot of men that are actually limiting the blessing of God in their life. Because they're taking too much on. Right? They have stepped really in a position that God has reserved only for himself. And I mean, we see that clearly with Abraham. Abraham stepped in, created more problems
that's right.
for himself.
Because he tried to provide.
He tried to provide. Instead, let God provide. That's the message, right?
I love it.
Yeah.
Man, so when men are carrying these different weights, I guess some that they're conscious of, or something like the shame that they're not conscious of. How do you see that showing up or manifesting in their relationships with wives, children, the mood, the energy that they bring to home? Are you seeing any correlation?
Yeah, everybody does it, though. It's not men don't just do it. Everybody does it.
Everybody does it. Okay.
Yeah, there's a great book I'm reading now. It's called When the Past is Brought to the Present.
Okay.
And the whole concept of the book is this idea of transference. But suffice it to say, here's the principle. They said every time we are dealing in any relationships, we're having a family reunion.
Ooh.
And listen, these folks dead. These folks not in town.
Right.
But as you're dealing with your wife, if you have not grieved, resolved, or healed from trauma with your mom, you maybe have a mama wound, mama trauma, or a father wound, or whatever it may be, sibling issues, like, and all of us do. I mean, all of us are carrying unknown trauma, carrying unknown hurts, wounds, and pains.
Sure.
And it is impossible for you not to carry that into your present relationships.
Yeah.
And so I think what a lot of brothers don't necessarily do, because it doesn't sound like it's a manly thing, is we don't embrace this mindset of healing.
Healing, sure. Yeah.
So to me, that's the shift that I had to make in my life. The shift I made prior to that, it was all about performance, achievement, and accomplishment.
Yeah.
We're wired pretty much the same. I am highly driven.
Sure.
I don't need anybody to tell me, handle business, make something of yourself.
That's not the messaging.
There's something inside of me that I can't turn off. And as a consequence, my marriage started struggling. I started losing relationship with my children. I wasn't never home. I wasn't present. Why? Because I was chasing success and not getting whole and healed.
Yeah.
And to me, if you're healthy, the tree gonna produce fruit.
Yeah.
It can't help but do it. But we don't operate like that as men, because again, it calls us to vulnerable spaces.
Yeah.
And that doesn't quite look like a man's space.
So you kind of you make fun of me from time to time, because I may not have the emotional awareness that you have at times. So break it down.
Yeah.
What does a healed man look like? That sounds like a very amorphous term, can be kind of general. What is, or even if you want to describe what that journey looks like,
sure.
What does that look like?
Man, that's so good.
A man who's experiencing or has experienced healing.
Yeah, so I love that question. And so I'll just reframe it and say this.
Okay.
I would say that healed is a past tense.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say, what is a man who is on a journey of healing looks
Correct.
like?
Correct.
And to me,
Yeah.
there's two things that happen if you're healing.
Okay.
You are learning more about God.
Okay.
And as a consequence, you're learning more about yourself.
Okay.
It is impossible to really be chasing God and not learn more about you.
Yeah.
We have a lot of us that are just lacking in self-awareness.
Yeah.
It's hard to be emotionally present.
Sure.
That was the thing I got from my wife.
Yeah.
That I was not present emotionally.
Yeah.
I was physically there. And I'll be honest.
Yeah.
You're like was it Charlie Brown? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He talking.
Talking to himself.
Whatever.
Yes,
Yeah. I didn't have that. I don't know where you get that from. I didn't learn that from my father or what have you. So in reality, it is just a lot of brothers who don't understand themselves.
Yeah.
And so they are trying to lead families.
Sure.
And you don't know you.
Yeah.
What did Isaiah say when he was in the presence of the Lord, high and lifted up? The first thing that happened to him
he
saw himself.
Yeah.
So Moses, the same thing.
Yeah.
So a man who's on a journey of healing
Right.
is a man who is learning more about God. God is revealing more of himself.
Yeah.
He's not stuck on an old definition,
Yeah.
an old maybe he was given this, he was bequeathed this understanding of God. He's growing in his knowledge of God, and as a result of that, he has to understand who he is more.
I love that. And I love how you reframe that healing is a journey, is not a stagnant place. And so
absolutely.
Let's go ahead and put that in the chat, brother. And tonight, let's just, hashtag take the journey to healing and realize it's an ongoing process. It's not, all right, I have arrived.
Right.
And I have no more growing to do. Man, I'm sorry. I need to circle back to something.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So you talked about, man, just as we, I guess, develop this flawed sense of what a man is. And a part of that comes from just really us not receiving what Jesus got from his Father. Approval, the affirmation, something that said, you're okay as is. So now what I'm wondering about, because I think some men are probably hearing that, even as a father of a teenager and a kind of a 10-year-old, I'm trying to rewire some things. If there is a single mom watching tonight and you're saying, can she give that to her son if dad is not around, dad is not present? What can she do to help him gain that sense of validation or approval if dad is not there to give it to him?
Man, I'm glad you asked that question because I hear a lot of people, especially on social media or even maybe preachers and teachers, they get too dogmatic on these things.
Okay.
Let's just be honest. Man, the grace of God has used women,
come on now,
especially in our community,
in our community,
to stand in the gap. And to provide even masculine characteristics and traits of strong men without the presence, of a man.
Sure. Yeah.
Is that God's ideal? No, it's not.
Yeah.
But is God good enough and gracious enough to fill in the gaps? Yes, he can. So you ain't going to never hear me say that a woman can't do it.
Right.
I serve a miracle working God.
Come on now.
And a lot of, I'm saying, listen, this is the truth. Like he will fill in the gaps.
I feel like we're about to have a church.
Yeah. I'm for it now.
Yeah.
But I will say this, that for the rest of that brother's life, he is always going to have this hole in his heart.
Sure.
This longing, this desire for that masculine presence of a father.
Yeah.
It is, there's a reason why. And I say this with great caution.
Yeah.
There's a reason why God has identified himself as a father.
Sure. Yeah.
I believe, and you know,
Man.
developmental psychology bears this out.
Yeah.
That we get confidence from our relationship with our Father.
Sure.
That our perception and conception of God even is based on our relationship with our Father.
Sure. Yeah.
God knew what he was doing. But I know this to be true. Like so much of, you know, and my parents, they split. So I had a close relationship with my father as a child.
Yeah.
But after the marriage split, it was the opposite that happened.
Okay.
Some guys get a chance to have a second chance with their father maybe later in life, you know, maybe they didn't know him. So I was going through a different kind of season where I needed him as a grown man leading my own family, but I could not get that from him because of the circumstances.
Okay.
But I was craving masculine intimacy.
Yeah.
Those are two terms we don't even put in the same sentence sometimes because we assume intimacy is almost always physical. But I just needed hands laid on me that I'm with you.
Yeah.
I needed the prodigal son kind of experience that says, no, you're not perfect. You're going to make mistakes in your marriage.
Yeah.
But I love you no matter what.
No matter
Here's
what.
the robe and the ring.
Sure.
You my guy.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, there's so many men. And the thing that creates the most emotion at our conferences and our events, Snell, is anytime you start talking about dudes and their dads.
Yep, I believe it.
It's dads and their kids. Women never move dudes.
Yeah.
Like the fathers do and their own children.
Yeah.
Because this is a gaping hole that most of us have.
Yeah.
Especially in our community where we're longing for that kind of covering that we just did not have.
What an amazing conversation about the importance of dealing with the weight that men carry. All the men in our lives need to hear this conversation. Make sure you tune in next week for an important conversation about the difference between being a leader and a boss in the context of being the priest and leader of the home. You don't want to miss that one. Now let's jump back into this conversation.
That's so heavy, man. But I love that idea that, you know, God, you know, works in the midst of fallen scenarios,
of course,
imperfect, you know, cycles and pathologies, and God is able to make up the difference. And so I love that. I'm praying that's providing some encouragement and hope, perhaps to some single moms who are watching. God is able to make up the difference. So let me kind of, you know, turn to another place. So let me ask you this question. So this weight, you know, this stress, this sense of heaviness that men are carrying, are you seeing it show up in certain cycles, habits, pathologies, coping mechanisms that maybe many men are not even aware of? They're not connecting the dot between this stress or trigger and this behavior. Can you maybe talk through some of the things, the cyclical things that you're seeing happening?
You're asking all the right questions.
Well, listen, man.
Listen,
we want to get the people what they want. That's what it is.
Let me tell you why that's such a that's such a good question, because here's a bold statement. All right. Every single one of us, because of sin, self-medicates.
Okay.
Overcompensates. Tries to find a way to, in a sense, fill the void on our own. It's our default setting.
Gotcha.
It's just that we're going to find fig leaves. That's what we're going to do.
Something to cover.
We got to do something to deal with the loss, the pain, the grief, the inadequacy, the failure, so forth and so on. So my thing was, it was pornography. Right? But it wasn't just pornography. It was also work, right? It was also an addiction to more success and notoriety, approval, things of that nature. And so these are all manifestations of a person who is finding healing in things that do not satisfy. What was the line that you see? You used to there was a line you used to have, something about temporary and permanent.
Yeah. I guess
just how it's like we're trying to find something permanent from something that is temporary.
Yeah. Trying to get lasting satisfaction from a temporary source.
Yeah. So with men, I'm just going to give you the 3.
Okay.
There's more. So I don't want to give folks
there's a big 3.
The big 3 is money, sex, and power.
Yeah.
Money, sex, and power.
Yeah.
Money, sex, and power.
Yeah.
These are idols.
Yeah.
These are placebo.
Yeah.
Right? These are drugs.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna never bring healing.
It's a drug.
It's a drug.
And see, the reason I love that you framed it that way, because there's perhaps maybe a wife that's kind of looking at their husband's response to those 3 things and just saying, why can't you just stop? Change your behavior. Why is it important that she understands that is a drug?
Sure. So let me use this illustration.
Okay.
Illustration can be if I have a pool in my backyard, right? And the pool is empty.
Yeah.
Like, in order for me to get into that pool, I've got to fill it up with some water,
Yeah.
right? But whether I fill it up or not,
Gotcha.
it's gonna rain.
It's gonna rain. Yeah.
And stuff is gonna collect in there.
Wow.
Right?
Ooh.
You know how water is. It's gonna find something. Right.
Yep.
And so most of us are the pool.
Yeah.
We are born with empty crevices and spaces in our lives.
Yeah.
And there is water.
Yeah.
Water is going to find places to rest.
Yeah.
Period. If you have a house, you own a home. We both own a home. You already know the number one problem that you're going to have to face when it comes to your home ain't fire, is water.
It's water. Yep.
Is it the
It
roof?
gets in everything.
It gets in everything.
It gets in everything.
And so what that to me represents is it represents sin. It represents struggle. It represents our predilection and our addiction to things that just don't satisfy. It's going to be filled.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that the brother is not a good man.
Yeah.
It just means that he's human, and that's what he's drawn to. Women are drawn to things too.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it now.
Yeah.
I think unfairly, because this.
This is why we had to have the King's table, where men can tell the truth. Now you're cooking with fish grease.
No.
So go ahead and lean on.
Well, listen, brother, I ain't trying to start no trouble, but it just so happens that a lot of there is a. I'm just gonna be honest. There is a double standard. Because again, yes, sisters, I understand we got patriarchy. Some of y'all sisters that are watching, I do recognize that's older than racism, right? Yeah. Patriarchy, right, and misogyny, things of that nature.
Yeah.
But the question needs to be asked: Why are men broken like this?
Yeah. Wow.
These are hurting boys. These are hurting boys, and I'm saying they ain't had the permission that you had to have girlfriends. I asked some sisters the other day, and the brothers are gonna feel me on this.
Yeah.
Because somebody asked me, they said in the men's in the winning circle in the community, the brothers were saying, he said, man, I wish my wife had something like this.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you mean? She said, my wife don't got no accountability.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I started realizing, Snell, that how a man defines accountable and supportive relationships is totally different than a woman.
Sure. Yeah.
So the women got on my Facebook page when I asked the question, and they were like, this is disrespectful. Women have always had accountable relationships. There's a difference.
Yeah.
Women have supportive relationships.
Yeah.
Right? A shoulder to cry on.
Yeah.
You know, somebody to lean on.
A group of women get together, they're going to, man, look at your shoes, girl. This is going to be filled with affirmation and love. And,
listen, I know that's generally speaking. Right. I'm not saying there aren't any exceptions. All right? I ain't say that, right?
Right.
Some of y'all different. But what I am saying is.
So before y'all come for us in the
don't
chat,
come for me.
That's not what we're saying.
I'm just saying, but men define accountable relationships as check me.
Yeah.
Right? Challenge me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's very almost military-like in that fashion.
Sure.
Like, tell me the truth, man.
Call me into account.
Call me to account.
Yeah.
And the truth is for whatever reason, because we have, in many cases, we have told our men to be strong.
Yeah.
But we've given our women permission to not have to be strong.
Yeah.
A lot of brothers are missing that element of the community and the support. And so, to me, this is a big thing, Snell. Most men I know are lonely.
Yeah.
Most of them don't have no friends.
Sure.
Most of them don't have nobody to talk to.
Is that age specific?
No.
Okay.
Well, yes.
Because it feels like maybe the older you get,
it
the
definitely,
lonelier.
Well, the study says that the most lonely men in the world are married men.
Married men. Okay.
Past 35.
Gotcha.
But there's a shift that's happening.
Okay.
Post 2010 with the smartphone, there used to be a kid when we were little boys. We had best friends.
Sure.
We had sleepovers, pause. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like all that
Right.
type of stuff.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah.
But you understand what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
back in those days, it was like you had your boys, your friends.
Sports. Yeah.
That stuff is changing now with the smartphones and the devices and the video games. A lot of these young boys now.
Yeah.
These are you got angry boys with no friends.
No friends, yeah.
Right? And and so now it's even hard to quantify.
Yeah.
It's just an old man thing.
Yeah.
People are starting off lonely, brothers
Lonely,
are.
yeah.
And this is why young men are radicalized. This is
Yeah.
why you have the incel red pill, blue pill movement that's
Yeah.
happening because they're being targeted by
Targeted.
algorithms.
That's right. Yeah.
Because they know these brothers are at a low deficit in terms of community.
Community,
So
yeah.
if you just ask me straight up, like what's the number one thing a man needs to do
Yeah.
to experience healing? He needs to get in the right community.
Get in the right
Period.
community.
Yeah.
Wow. That's powerful
Yeah.
stuff. So let me ask you this. So if let's just say you have a wife who's listening and her husband, she's noticing, man, he's kind of drifting into some cycles. Maybe he's not managing just kind of the weight and stresses of life. She wants to aid him in the journey of healing. She wants to be a helpmeet for him, but he doesn't really talk. He doesn't open up. Is there anything she can do to help kind of unlock him, crack the code, so she can walk alongside of him in a way that ensures his success?
Man, let me see.
Yeah.
This is the question of questions.
That is the question of
And
questions.
I promise you, I'm not going to sit up here and act like I'm an expert on how to get a person. Because essentially what's being asked is how do I get a man to change?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because the man would ask me the same question. She doesn't listen. She's
Right.
controlling,
Yeah.
so forth and so on. How do I
Right.
get her to change? So I just want to,
Sure.
here's a disclaimer.
Yeah.
I do not have the secret recipe
All right.
on how to change somebody's behavior.
Yeah.
But what I would tell a woman
Man, if
is-
you did, boy, that'd be a game changer.
It'd be
wouldn't
game
it?
over. It'd be game over. But what I do have is this.
Right.
Sisters, you don't know how much power you have.
Yeah.
I have counseled women over the years that ultimatums, and I'm not talking about ultimatums in a manipulative sense.
Yeah.
I'm saying, listen, we need to get help.
Yeah.
And if we don't get help,
Yeah.
then we're going to have to have some conversations about where this relationship is going to go. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I have seen a lot of stubborn men
Okay.
who refuse to get the help that they need in order to lead their families the way they need to lead their families.
Yeah.
I've seen that. There is that stubborn, pride, egotistical. I hate to use the word narcissism because I think people just throw that word out
Throw
for
it out
everything.
there now.
But you do see elements of that in men. And so the question would be like, what do I do with a man that just refuses to get help?
Yeah.
You get help. So we do a whole presentation on, essentially how to help him heal. And the first thing I tell women is you get healed.
Sure. Yeah.
Number two, as you're getting healed, God, hopefully, as you're healing, will give you empathy for his inability to change in this area.
Okay. All right.
I think it was Gary Thomas, the one who wrote 5 Love Languages. I think he wrote it.
yeah.
But he gave this illustration about.
Chapman?
Yes, Chapman. I get the other one wrote the book Cherish, which
Cherish,
is also a really good book. But anyway, so Chapman says this. He says that when he got married, he said his wife had a thing where she never closed doors and drawers. And he found himself always going behind her and closing the doors and whatnot. And so he got frustrated to the point where he was just like, I'm sick of this. And, he went off on her, essentially saying, you got to do better. I don't like a woman that can't keep house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Keep these doors closed.
Yeah.
Close it. Clean up behind yourself and stuff.
Yeah.
And he said the Spirit of God told him this after a while. He said, this may be the area that she's weak in that you need to cover him in.
Yeah.
Here's the hard truth.
Okay.
There are some areas we married people like this. They ain't going to like me on this.
Yeah.
You got married.
Yeah.
And he was not emotionally present.
Yeah.
He was emotionally withdrawn. Same for the sisters.
Yeah.
He was emotionally withdrawn. And now that you've been married for 30 years, you've matured.
Right.
You want more out of the relationship. Now you tripping.
Yeah.
This may be an area of weakness. You may need to look at him as the 10-year-old boy whose father never kept his promises. You may need to look at him as the 12-year-old boy whose mother forced him into manhood.
Come on now.
At an early age.
Yeah.
This may be a call for empathy.
Yeah.
And for mercy at this stage of your marriage,
Sure.
rather than, if he don't get himself together, I'm out.
Yeah.
That's the hard truth of marriage.
It is.
There's some stuff.
Yeah.
Let me tell you real quick. So I had this brother. He had been married 3 times in my church.
Okay.
He just came out of his third marriage.
Right.
And so we were out eating at a restaurant.
Yeah.
And I asked him a question. He was shocked. I said, "What kind of advice would you give somebody, who's been married?" I said, "You've had 3 failed marriages.
Right.
I'm sure you learned something."
Yeah.
And I mean, his eyes watered. He was like, "Nobody's ever asked me that because I feel so ashamed that I failed so much in my marriage."
Yeah.
And so, but he dropped the bomb though. This is what he said. He said, "This is what I learned." He said, "We focus too much on the assets." He says, "We don't pay attention to the liabilities."
Gotcha. Okay.
He said, "We marry the assets."
Yeah.
He said, "But we don't realize that the liabilities are there." He said, instead of asking ourselves, what are the good qualities that I want?
Yeah.
He said, you need to ask yourself sometimes, what are the liabilities that I'm willing to live with for the rest of my life?
Rest of my life, yeah. Because I don't think you can. I tell people all the time, you walk by faith. But you gotta marry by sight.
You gotta marry by sight.
It is what it is. I mean, it's
there's some
unchanging.
things that just may never change.
Right. Yeah.
That's what marriage is in a person.
Yeah.
Or if they do change, it could be years. In the making.
Yeah, because I think people change. Like bicycles or cars make U-turns, but we're like buses or planes. We don't make U-turns.
Cruise
we make
ships.
Cruise ships. They're very wide. It takes a long time for a ship or a plane or a bus to turn around.
Absolutely.
And I think there are people that really get frustrated and maybe make some decisions prematurely, not realize, because you're saying they're not changing, they're not turning, but they're just early in that turn, and it takes a long time to get there.
Yeah, you just telling the man he needs to get himself together, he needs to heal, he needs to change, and you're not doing the same work. To me, it's almost a dead giveaway that you're not doing the work.
Yeah.
If the condescension and the judgment about his situation is always about what he's not doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a heavy statement. So you talked earlier when you talked about a man getting healing, how it begins with God, or just even that awareness. How does your day-to-day spirituality inform how you manage and deal with life's weights and stresses? And what kind of rhythms do men need to develop spiritually to just kind of be able to keep perspective, or maybe keep things in balance?
That's like a philosophical like axiom that I have just about. And I'm glad you asked the question because again, I think when it comes to rhythms, and so in the military, there are 3 things that they do to change a person. Right?
Okay.
And it's crazy because you think about it, you take an 18-year-old, from off the street, literally. He can have no daddy in his life.
Yeah.
And literally, the philosophy of the military, especially even in combat, is you give me 13 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a soldier out of him.
Yeah.
I'm going to have him combat ready is the mindset.
13 weeks.
In 13 weeks.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
Typically 12 weeks, but there's so there are 3 things that they do. The first thing that they do is they do habit formation. Notice, habit formation does not take place before the second thing, which is identity transformation.
Okay.
The first thing they do is they don't tell you that you're different, you're a soldier, this is who you are. They kind of guide you to change your practices and your behaviors.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because they understand the brain works. The brain actually does not respond to somebody telling them this is who you are.
Right.
What the brain responds is that I'm accomplishing and doing behaviors that reinforce who I am. So the first thing they do is they get you up early in the morning, you make your bed a certain way, you fold your drawers a certain way, and then they tell you after that, you're not a civilian anymore, you're a soldier.
You're a soldier.
And guess what? You agree because your behavior looks like it.
Wow.
And then the last thing they do is they do stress inoculation.
Yeah.
Stress inoculation is they test you to essentially see if what they've said about you and trained you to do is actually the truth.
If it's the truth.
So the more stressful situation, the better. So what I tell men, the way I apply it on this level for like healing practices and for spiritual development is we compartmentalize our spirituality simply to doing spiritual things. But spirituality to me is holistic.
It's holistic.
It's comprehensive.
Yeah.
So I tell brothers, you got to be doing 5 things every day. You need to check the boxes off this list every day if you're going to grow spiritually.
Hey, go ahead and write it down, brothers. Go ahead and get ready to put it in the phone.
We call it the shift. We call it the shift framework, and we kind of say tongue-in-cheek, get your shift
get your shift together.
Yeah. So the first one is
SHIFT. Yes, there you go. Amen.
So spiritual rhythms.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing spiritually to pour into that bucket every day? What time are you waking up in the morning? How much time are you spending with God?
Yeah.
Are you praying with your spouse? The second thing is health. What are you doing to develop yourself from a physical perspective?
Sure.
And what are you doing to develop yourself from a mental fitness perspective?
Gotcha.
So, like, are you with a counselor? Like, I think every black man should see somebody just because of what we carry.
Yeah.
Are you taking care of your body?
Okay.
Right? That's a stewardship principle. And a lot of guys don't feel good about themselves
Right.
because they don't have good habits and practices that say, I actually care about myself.
Sure.
All right. The third thing is integrity. You have gifts, talents, and skills. I think integrity is the defiance of mediocrity in everything we do in our life.
I love it.
Integrity to me is, I can't be a man of integrity if I'm just nice. No, a man of integrity defies all dysfunction in his life.
It's not just telling the truth.
Yeah. For example, you're a writer, you're an author.
Yeah.
You have challenged yourself in that regard that I'm going to write, I'm going to be disciplined to take this gift and to use it.
Yeah.
There are a lot of brothers who work, and they deny their identity and their gifts and their talents.
Yeah.
What are you doing to develop as a man? Then next is family.
Yeah. Okay.
You spending time with your wife?
Yep.
With your children?
Yeah.
Is it on your schedules or your calendar? And then
Yeah.
last but not least, T for tribe. None of those things will happen
Yeah.
if you do not have a community of other men,
Yeah.
not your wife.
Yeah.
A lot of brothers gravitate just because of our experiences with women
Yeah.
to use women
Yeah.
as our therapists, to
Yep.
use women as our accountability. Your wife is not your accountability partner.
Right. Yeah.
Do you have a community
Yeah.
that sees to it that all those commitments are kept?
Yeah.
I feel like if a man has those things in place,
Yeah.
that he can't help
Yeah.
but grow
I love it. I love it. I love it.
and win. Yeah.
So listen, man, we're about to get ready to wrap. We got to land this plane.
Already?
Man. Yeah, man. But we're going to have you back again, man. Matter of fact, you're going to be with us again.
You ask such good questions, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like my
it's-
whole life just want to pour it out.
Yeah, it's because it's you, man. It's because it's you, my brother.
Yes, sir.
So, man, let's just, there's somebody, there's a brother who's listening, maybe a family, and they're, man, something is stirring inside of them. Something is swelling inside of them. They want to be able to manage life's cares and woes and sorrows a little bit better. Can you maybe just, you've given us a lot already, so it's not like we don't know anything. But just, if you just kind of maybe give them a starting point, just look at the camera, just encourage your brother. This is kind of where you start. This is just, give them a directional sign.
Yeah, bro. Listen, let me tell you right now, the value that God has placed on your life is far above what you can ever imagine or think. And I think a lot of times we as men are not given permission to say, I matter, that my feelings matter, what I've gone through matters, that I actually hurt, that I actually need somebody to tell me, bro, I'm proud of you. Listen, it's okay to be human. Let me encourage you this though. You can't do this thing by yourself. Don't be Samson, man. Spend your whole life looking strong,
My Lord.
but really being weak.
Yeah.
What I want to encourage you to do right now, just one decision I want you to make. I want you to make a decision that you're going to choose healing over success.
I love it.
If you choose healing over success, guess what? Success will be a byproduct. Matter of fact, you won't even have to chase success. It will chase you.
Come on now.
If you get healed, get your life together.
Yeah.
So, Pastor, if I can, I just want to invite some of you brothers. Lord has literally called me to help brothers like you. I know you're doing well publicly.
Yeah,
you
got
it
my
going
next
on.
question.
I see you got the job. You got the Facebook images look really, really
They
good.
look good, yeah.
But you know good and well that behind the scenes there's some areas that need help. So look, if you need help, holla at me.
Yeah.
I want you to just go to my website, and I offer a completely free mentorship training where I can help you figure out what healing looks like for you so you can stop self-sabotaging and get out of your own way. Go to www.menswinningscircle.com/breakthrough. www.menswinningscircle.com/breakthrough. And all I want you to do is just get in the company of other men that are healing. You are 95%, according to the research, 95% likely to experience growth, success, healing, development, transformation if you simply get in the right community. I'm inviting you right now, bro. Stop delaying, stop hurting people, stop making casualties out of your family, and take care of yourself for once so that God can be glorified in the most important relationships in your life.
Man, I love it, man.
Yes, sir.
Jesus, this is epic tonight, man. This is the perfect way to start it. I believe this is the Lord's doing, and it's marvelous in our eyes. Again, we are thanking you all so much for joining us here at our maiden episode for the King's Table. Listen, the King, this is his table, but he's invited his sons to come and sit with him. And we're glad that you took some time to fellowship with us here tonight. I'm going to encourage you, if it blessed you, if it helped you, if it nourished you, if it pushed you forward at all, again, just do me a favor, just go ahead and copy that link on YouTube, send it to 3 4, 5, 10 brothers. I need you to be the wind kind of pushing this forth like the leaves of autumn so that some other men can be healed, encouraged, and strengthened. So again, I want to thank you so much for joining us on this weekend's episode of The King's Table. I look forward to seeing you next week. As brothers in Christ, we're going to continue to grow, build, and share together. God bless you. Look forward to seeing you next Friday.
Hey family, thank you so much for watching tonight. This was an amazing episode and I hope that you were blessed. Please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the Breath of Life TV channel. There's so many things to explore, so much content, so make sure you catch up with everything we have to offer. We can't wait to see you next time.